Welcome to Speak On It with Who You With Curtdog.
Welcome to the show. Let's get this party started.
I'm out.
Hopefully, y'all had a great day today.
I'm out.
It wouldn't be allegedly because he was charged.
Welcome to Speak. I'm out. Welcome to Speak. I'm out.
Boy, those must be some good wings.
I'm Who You With Curtdog.
Welcome to Speak On It, Curtdog. I'm Curtdog. Hopefully, y'all had a great week today. I had a pretty good week. Can't complain. I don't know what it is, but it seems like as soon as I come on, my mic wanna start falling apart. It must be Thursday night. My homegirl must be in the house tonight. She always got my back, and I don't know what's going on. Okay, I got it now. So welcome to Speak On It with Curtdog. I'm Curtdog. It's Thursday night, so you know what time it is. My homegirl, Miss RsKee, is in the house. She's waiting in the background. But we want to welcome everyone on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, D Live. It's always in the house, and also on Spotify. Ooh, I'm just Anchor.fm, all of that. I'm messing all of it up tonight. I know McGarry gonna talk about me, but you know what time it is. She already got some stuff on her mind. She's gonna be ranting a little bit. So we're gonna let her do a rant to vent. That's what it's all about, being able to vent and release all that stress. Then we also gonna talk about sex trafficking. We talk about that quite a bit on the show. Then I have a question to ask. Should transgender males be allowed to be in prison, in a female prison? So that's a question I'm going to throw out there, and we're going to talk about that too. Other than that, my homegirl, my little sister from another mother, Miss RsKee. What's going on, Miss RsKee? How you doing today?
I wish I felt better. I needed to rain or do something because there's pressure in my head.
You
Been
telling
ongoing for a week now.
me.
Like they keep forecasting thunderstorms and nothing happens.
They've been forecasting it since last week.
Yeah,
And
and my car is filthy.
mine is too, and I was gonna go wash it. I was talking with a neighbor the other day, and I was like, man, I need to wash my vehicle, but they keep talking about rain. I'm like, man. And then I went outside the other day. Soon as I walked out, my eyes started burning. I'm like, what the hell going on up in here?
Yeah, my left eye is like it feels like there's pressure. I was like, oh Lord, it's the glaucomas.
420 was yesterday.
No, I don't do that.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I don't either.
Lies.
I don't trust it. I tell you, if it's not legal, I can't fool with it. But if it become legal, I'm there.
Listen, once it becomes legal, I'll open up my shop,
Yeah, once it become legal, I'm
my
up in
bakery.
there. Exactly. Now, only thing I can do is look at the videos and just wish. What's going on? T Cal is in the house. Said, hey, happy Thursday. Happy Thursday to you. Thank you for always tuning in, supporting the show. If it's your first time tuning in, you can always live chat with us. You can always uh, call in, but no foolishness. Please be respectful, and please do not block your number. I get about, well, they're going down now. I get about 20 to 30 spam calls a day now. Before it was about 50. So if you call, have your number blocked, I won't answer. But you can always call in and try. Um, but how, other than your allergies, how was your week?
Slow. I had to go in and crazy because I had to go in all week this week to work.
Ooh.
I know they actually made me work. I was like, no, I want to just be on my sofa and check emails, but everybody being terminated or quitting. So
Uh,
got to get those manual checks out.
have they given out the bonuses yet?
No, we won't know about that until June, probably.
Oh, okay. Um, I was just
Oh, and
thinking,
then I may have to add an extra thing to my rent. Well, you know what? I'm gonna do a prequel rant.
Well,
Has nothing to do with the story, but no, it has to do with the job. So apparently, on our benefits, we have short-term disability we could sign up for. Well, young lady went out, because she had a baby, like had a whole human, but she can't use her short-term disability, right? Because she has to be on it for a year before you can use it.
well, they shouldn't
So
take
that,
the money until after a year.
like, I'm just like, where is this? Like, we had to scour through like the guidelines and stuff like that, and it's in there. But I was like, listen, you need to let people know up front, especially when we're paying for it. This is not a company sponsored thing. We're paying for it. So she was like, you know what, then you need to give me back my money. And they're gonna run a line talking about you missed the deadline for refunds.
Oh,
But
hell
our
no.
company gives exceptions to everybody and their mama. They didn't pay some man an extra 40 hours that he doesn't have to pay back. Just because, oh, well, we don't want him to wait on his next check. Where they do that at?
Hey,
Like, she had a whole child. So she literally is working from home after 2 weeks. The baby still got the umbilical still attached. Like, so we're still trying to fight some stuff because I was like, listen, if I have to give her some of my hours, because, we don't really take off or do something or use that code everybody else is using frivolously, excuse would pay. Like, the company needs to come up with something.
that don't make sense. Now
It
I
doesn't.
know I I know if you've had a injury
Well,
or something like
pre-existings and stuff like that, but she's pregnant and you expect to take your 6 weeks, use your benefits and it covers you. Like if I get like if I've just been on it for like 5 months and then I get diagnosed with cancer, oh sorry, you can't take treatments or take off because you haven't been on it for a year. You're
okay,
just gonna have
this
to die.
I guess in a sense, did she get on it once she got pregnant or before she got pregnant?
It really doesn't matter. I mean, she's
It
been paying
shouldn't.
into it.
It
Like
shouldn't,
it hadn't been a year. I
but
mean, it takes
but
a baby 9 months to incubate.
but didn't they change the law where it's mandatory that you get the time off? It seemed maybe that was City of
Well,
Dallas was fighting that, trying to get it where you could get
you can.
paid.
I mean, you can. It's. I don't think it's mandatory, but you're for maternity leave, you get 6 weeks. But before your benefits kick in, or like however whatever you use, you have to use your paid time off first, and then it goes into your benefits. But if you're not eligible for any of the other benefits, or say you don't have any PTO, you're just SOL. So now you got the stress of this baby, and if you can pay your bills,
Hmm.
like I said, the baby just fresh
Yeah,
out the oven.
that's crazy.
Like, because I've never worked at a company where you can't utilize your short term disability, anytime, like, because anything can happen. I could, like a tornado could hit and I'm debilitated. And oh, you can't use your, I know you're in a coma, but you don't have any benefits. You have to be on it for a year.
And then on top of that, kind of like if and especially now a lot of these jobs are so stressful. Someone go in there and then you turn
Yeah.
around uh get stressed out and the doctor say, hey, you need to take a break. Uh that don't make
See,
sense
something
to
like
me.
that, you could use your PTO.
Yeah, but even your PTO is some. I've heard some people take time off from being stressed out on the job and stuff
Well,
like that.
that situation that could be classified as like a workers' comp issue if it's like brought on from the stress from work. So there are things in place for situations like that. You get injured on the job, mentally messed up from the job, workers' comp. As long as you have a good doctor and it's attributed to work, use your PTO until your workers' comp kicks in. Get 60% of your wages, depending on where you work. You
Yeah.
know, but short term disability is a no go unless you've been on it for a year. So I'm like, you pay all this money in and you can't use it.
T-Cal said, "What? That's
Like for real.
crazy."
It is. Like I've never worked at a company where you couldn't use your short term. Like you had to be on it for a year. Like
And
there are
she's
people who took off as soon as they signed up. And at first the payment came out and you got it. And I don't know if it's because the company that was more of a company sponsored thing. Because like I said, this is, employee based. So, the company has no say in it, but it's like in that case, give us our benefits or at least let us know ahead of time. But our HR staff, they don't know anything. Like they ask us questions about benefits and things of that nature, but they
yeah.
make six figures.
T-Cal said, "Yeah, because I'm about to lose my mind up in here, up in here." Oh, I'm having flashbacks. Um, yeah, that's crazy. Now, I think that's a Texas thing because
I
our
mean,
our governor had messed it up. Because, and I say that because I was
I think it's
talking with a
just company because it's not all companies. It's not all over Texas. It's just certain ones. Because again, most of my jobs, you just had it. So it just depends on the plans they allow in their companies.
T-Cal said, "Me and my husband may have to move to Cali." I, I, I think it's kind of with both, kind of because Texas is a hiring fire state. Um,
At
so
was it at will?
yeah, at will, they can fire you at any time,
Well,
and
they don't need a reason. I mean, it
a
has to be
reason.
just cause. But for the most part, it's like, well, I mean, it has to be work related. I mean, there is like say, well, he came in 5 minutes late, he's fired. And nobody like, okay.
No,
So
no
we
write
make it
ups, no
easy.
nothing.
Right. We make it too easy for employers to release, but it goes both ways because I can quit. But since they took paid time off the table in Texas, like if you had, 3 weeks or 4 weeks of vacation time accrued, you lose it.
Uh, I think if you
Anywhere
have it,
else,
you should get paid for it.
yeah. And it's like you earned that time, it's yours. All the other states, well, there's a few other states that don't allow paid time off, but um yeah, like give us our time. Like they make it easy for the companies to get off easy without, with very little penalties.
Exactly. Welcome to the show, Gabe. Straight out of, I believe you're down in the Austin. No, not Austin. Somewhere down there near Austin. I believe you're in school. Was out of Houston, but he's in school now. Thank you for supporting the show. We are live, so but that's really crazy. It's bad enough that the young lady just had a baby,
Like 2 weeks
and
ago.
and then having to be stressed,
Yeah.
dealing with a newborn, not getting much sleep, then turning around, kind of find out you're not gonna get paid, which is crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, we're still trying to finagle some things because, like I said, there's a way she can get paid for her time off because everybody in the company is using this pay code that was initially set up for the COVID situation. Like when companies closed, they created a pay code that the companies was going to pay for, that they got money from the state to cover paid time off, excuse with pay. Because if the company's closed, well, it's not your fault we can't open because we don't, there's no safe way for you to return. But people are using it for random reasons. Like, well, I don't want to use my vacation. Let's do excuse with pay. That's not what that's for, but people are using it.
Taking advantage of it.
Yes. And HR managers are just like giving it away like hotcakes. So we were like, well, there you go. Give her time. Excuse with pay. I mean, she got the bundle right there.
Exactly, it should be.
Yeah.
Um,
So I think my manager is working on some things because I told him I was, don't make me write on Glassdoor because they don't need any more bad reviews of my boss. Well, don't do it, please don't do it.
Exactly.
I don't want that phone call.
I'm I know we finna get to the rant, but I'm gonna answer this
The rant.
question. Yeah, I'm gonna answer this question real quick. Gabe asks, how do you think Biden doing now, Kurt Dog? Haven't been here in a while. I still feel like he doing better than Trump. Okay, go ahead with your rant, Miss Risky.
Yeah, I'm not gonna follow that one up either. So,
Say what?
anywho, so this rant is um, it came up was brought about because of a post I saw on Facebook from one of my peers. So I'm not gonna say her name. I'm just gonna quote what she said. So she says, "Tell me I'm overthinking this. The wackadoodles in the state are now venturing on domestic terrorists." So I replied that domestic terrorism has been a thing for a while. I also posted a link regarding the move, the MOVE bombing in Philadelphia, and then she replied, "Yeah, but I can't help to but think that they are growing and expanding." And so I wrote back, well, yes, they are growing in numbers because they have been overlooked and not classified properly. So they've always been there, from school shootings to bombings and on homeland. They've always dismissed it as mental health, mental illness, because terrorists don't look like what is portrayed on TV. So that's where like I started thinking, because people are just now opening their eyes to this whole idea of the new domestic terrorist or terrorism, or terrorist. And I'm glad they're thinking about it and taking their blinders off. Um, but it still boggles my mind that people are afraid to call a spade a spade. Like we talk about the boogeyman theory, that they've placed on the black or minority people, and then and of course white men. Uh, they're not considered villains nor the boogeyman. It's like it's unheard of. But everyone from, like I said, immigrants to the rainbow family to minorities, we're all villains or something derogatory. They always come up with something to put us down. I saw an article on the Griot website, and it states murderers of white people are overwhelmingly white. Every year, about 85% of white victims are killed by white offenders. White people have come to believe that the blacks are the ones to fear, while white people are out there murdering each other like it's the purge. Because they always say, oh, black on black crime, and, with the percentages that they say that we're committing crimes, that's pretty much all the minority race, like all the black race, which isn't true. But, you kill what you are around. So black people are going to kill black people or commit crimes to, their like kinds, and vice versa. It's crazy people in all groups. On the ABC News website, they posted a crime report from 2014 stating that 90% of black people killed were killed by other black people, and 14.8% of white people um, were killed by black people. So we're not just killing up everybody. It's just like, you can find you can find any kind of percentage and skew it to make it seem like, oh well, it says black people are 80, 95% more likely, and it's like, yeah, but what about the white people?
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm gonna
The school
skip the rest of it
shootings.
because I went down a rabbit hole that I didn't intend to go down, just to try to get some research and some data and things like that. But I wanted to at least get that base down. So domestic terrorism or homegrown terrorism is a form of terrorism in which the victims within a country are targeted by a perpetrator with the same citizenship as the victims. Now, even though organizations like the KKK and other white supremacist groups are classified as terrorist groups, they're allowed to remain intact and wreak havoc upon non-whites or non-Christians or whatever they feel like that's different than their belief system. Since slavery to the civil rights movement, white men have gotten the green light to skate the laws of the land to rain terror upon groups of people. And for decades, the most comprehensive total belonging to the archives of the Tuskegee Institute, which tabulated that 4,743 people who died at the hands of U.S. lynch mobs between 1881 and 1968. So, and they said that 3,446, nearly three quarters of those lynchings, were of Black Americans. Again, we've talked about some of these riots and these terrorisms brought upon the Black community, like the Red Summer in 1919 took place in Arkansas. More than 3 dozen cities across the United States were victim of white supremacist group who went to these towns and destroyed them, killed the people, women, children, and so on. The Tulsa Race Massacre, 1921, Chicago Race Riot, where the government of Illinois deployed nearly 6,000 Army National Guard troops and stationed them around the Black Belt to prevent white attacks, they said. Let's see. So now we're getting into, modern times. Between 1982 and this report ended it February 2022. Out of 126 mass shootings, 56% of those have been carried out by white shooters. But you never call them terrorists. They were having a bad day. Oh, they came from a broken family. I mean, if that was the case, every Black or minority kid in America or gay person would have torn up this country by now. But no, we grew up maybe with some mental illness, but we didn't impose those on other people. You know what I mean? Like maybe we drank our pain away, but we don't go out in masses and shooting people or killing them. Um, like I said, see, of the 126 shooters, 66 were white, 21 were African American, 10 Latino. So, we do some stuff, but on a grand scale, that's not usually what we do. See, 2008, Dr. Bruce Evans, he allegedly mailed letters laced with anthrax in U.S. mail. Remember that story?
Yep.
Now, he took his own life before charges could be made, but there was a lot of evidence pointing to him because he was a biochemistry something. Long title, very sciencey. It's above my pay grade. 1995, Timothy Mcveigh, Oklahoma City bombing. 168 souls lost, including 19 children, with several hundred more injured. Ted
And it
Krasinski.
just the 27th anniversary was on the 19th of that.
The Unabomber
Yep.
terrorized the nation for nearly 20 years, planting bombs and killed 3 Americans and injured many more before his capture in 1996. There's a long list and I just took a little bit of it. From the Las Vegas shooting, the Orlando nightclub shooting, Virginia Tech shooting, and then I'm gonna scroll down because I remember watching a documentary on this, the University of Texas Tower shooting in 1966, where the guy was on the tower the university and was started shooting and killed 17 people and 31 were actually injured. And the whole time I was watching that documentary, they were like, he was such a handsome man and quiet, and he was such. I just don't understand. He had, and it's always excuses. Never like, no, he was a terrorist. He killed these people. And but unfortunately, minorities like we don't get that luxury. To say, oh, it's mental illness. No, we're just savages, wild, and everything under the sun. While they get lesser sentences or get off on um, mental defect and get into like a little mental hospital with jello and windows.
Exactly.
So my thing is, it's like we should just we need to start using terrorists more often in our vocabularies and in when things like this happens, because men, no matter what race, can be evil and violent, and anyone, no matter the race, who commits mass injury or mass murders should be classified as they are what they are, a terrorist. They're not just over there with turbans and in the desert. They're right here. And we need to fix it right here. And they, when they're caught, they need to be convicted, and you can get counseling in prison. No more light sentence, but so that was my rant.
But when you talk about Timothy McVeigh and
Hmm.
Terry Nicholson, I believe it is, um, which he's serving life, I think 131 years or something in prison. But I wasn't aware of this, and I just recently found out when he was talking about the case the other day. The reason why they did that Oklahoma City bombing was in response to the David Koresh incident in Waco. So the thing is, David Koresh had a code. He brainwashed a lot of folks, and a lot of folks died in Waco, and that's why Timothy McVeigh ended up doing that, which is crazy.
Yeah, because I mean, at the end of the day, anyone who does harm to a mass group of people, no matter how they, inflict the pain or the death or cause the death, they're crazy. But they're sane enough that they mapped out a plan, they enacted that plan, and they rolled it out. It's like they had the presence of mind to do all these things. You know what I mean? But then black person, oh, savages, life, death, string them up.
and he also served in the U.S. Army.
Hmm.
And so,
Because
yeah,
the Unabomber, he was actually born over there. Like I don't know if it was Ukraine or Russia. He was one of those. And then he studied over there. He did some, I forgot what he studied, but then he came over here. And so, yeah, so he started over there and then came over here. And I forgot what his motive was. But if y'all see the little documentary on that, because there is a documentary on Ted, and it's very interesting. I think it's online on YouTube, because
what's
it's like they say his like over there government name, and you're like, who is this guy? He sounds crazy. And then, well, he's interesting. He's very smart, and but then he comes over here and changes his name, and you're like, wait, what? That's the
oh,
Unabomber?
okay? Let me, because I just had a list of them pulled up, and I
Yeah,
don't
it's
want.
a long list.
Yeah, it was a
Yeah, I didn't
long
even
one.
read, but I didn't research them enough to because I had to go into work to see if they were, what the who the shooters were exactly. I just did the events.
Mm. And welcome to the show, all aboard. Thank you for tuning in. And also, Miss Donna is in the house. Thank you for tuning in. And all aboard been saying a lot of stuff in the chat. Black people don't get that type of luxury offered.
Oh,
The Charleston
yeah, you
church
don't get lesser
shooter.
sentences because of mental defect or whatever.
Exactly. Then she said even the Boston Marathon bomber were from Chishan,
Chechnya.
yeah, close to Russia. And Miss Donna came in and said Jim Jones, who killed all those folks, and gave them the Kool-Aid. See, that's why I don't drink. I don't
Yeah, you
just
don't
drink.
drink everybody's Kool-Aid
So
anyway.
don't.
But it was like, who made the Kool-Aid? Who made the potato salad?
Hey, but it say
We're
something.
very particular.
But I was trying to find that list again because that list is it was pretty long. It was pretty long. But
Yeah, I
also,
mean, it was about, I'm just gonna guess it, like, I think I saw like 30 events, but I didn't scroll to the next page. So I just took like maybe 16 of them, but I didn't read all of them just for time because it's a lot. Um, and again, I think we need to do better with our mental health and or our health care and and promote mental health because a lot of these problems and issues we need they go untreated, and we need
exactly.
to try to save as many people as we can and try to nip it before it turns into a mass casualty type situation.
Now, one article I pulled up, and there's several reports on this, say, oh, excuse me, Oregon report. Um, Oregon is among states with the highest rates of domestic extremeness. So it's a lot of domestic terrorists that is around, and we definitely need to pay attention to it. Now, some I see the New York Post have an ad on here say why accused Brooklyn subway shooter Frank James can be tried as a terrorist. Well, he should be. What he did was a terrorist act, even though he was a black man. It was a terrorist act, but the ones that attacked the Capitol, try to overthrow our government, that was a terrorist act also. And each and every one of them that participated in it should be tried as a terrorist. It's no other way of putting it. That's the problem we run into because it's different laws for different folks, and they need to be one law straight across the board. And that's all to it. Because when you go and try to stop the change of power after we allowed our voice to be heard, and you saying it's your right, well, guess what? It's also our government right to hold you accountable for your action, and you should be. So, but that's uh, that's a lot uh, with all these terrorists um, and it's all the boys said those people in Oregon took over a government building because they didn't want to pay to feed their cattle were made famous. I'm not sure about not sure about that. I know they took over. Well, that may be right in Oregon. I haven't seen a lot on Oregon until today. But when what was it up in Michigan when they stormed the Capitol in Michigan, talking about taking the governor hostage and kidnapping her and possibly killing her, and then even the governor in either I think it was West Virginia. They was talking about doing the same thing to him, but they wasn't charged for it. You stormed the Capitol building with armed charge the Capitol building, and nothing happened. That's the problem we have with our government system, with our system, because if it was anybody else, they would have been held accountable, and they probably would have been shot dead before they got in there. So, um,
Or taken into custody as soon as they got wind that they were planning something.
yeah, exactly. Now, Gabe, if I don't deal with conspiracy, so if your comment don't make the stream, that's why. Because a lot of things you're saying, I know how you roll. We can agree to disagree, but some of the stuff you're saying is false information. I'm not gonna go to YouTube, listen to somebody say this, and then turn around it be false. So I don't do that. Um, all the boys said police died at the Capitol. Fact, and they brushed over it. Then blue line didn't matter. It didn't matter then. They yelled back to blue. I haven't heard that term since January 6th of last year because blue didn't matter then. It was their right to do that. That's what they yelled. It's my rights. Well, it's our right to hold you accountable. And the judges that are giving them a slap on the wrist, they need to be out of office. These politicians that agree with what they did, they need to be out of office. That's why we talk about voting so much on this show, because we need to get out and vote and change power. This madness that um, Greg Abbott is doing with the trucks at the border, I said last week on the show, it was going to cause a lot of problems. Come Friday morning, everybody started talking about the problem it's going to cause with him holding those trucks at the border. I'm saying that because I'm a uh, former truck driver. I know these things. And then turn around, he's still sending them to Washington. And I'm like, who paying for this? This is our tax dollar. He's only doing that because it's a political statement. That's why we need to roll him on up out of there. That's all to it. He need to go. When you even have Sid Miller, which I'm not voting for him either, saying he's wrong for what he's doing, that's a problem. Nobody want him in office, but he's trying to get there. That's why we need to vote and get him out. But go ahead. I'm sorry. I had no rants planned tonight, but I see we got trolls on
I'm telling
tonight.
you, listen, it's like you go down that rabbit hole, it opens the door to a lot of things. Now I know Gabe, I think it was Gabe, he asked a question about the Florida parental something law.
Yeah, let me go back to it.
What was
What do
that?
you think about the Florida uh parental rights bill, Curtdog? Well,
Like, I mean, because I'm still not sure I understand what that is exactly. Like, is that the whole um, the with the classrooms are prohibited from giving
I
instruction
guess
on
it
sexual
have
orientation or something like that? Is that what that is?
I guess it has something to do with their sexual orientation. I have no
Because I
idea.
mean, we didn't learn like any straight education in school. We just it was just what was it sex ed, and that was it. So are they? I mean, I don't even understand. Like, why? What? And you
Hey,
can't say gay or something. I'm like, come on now.
it,
Like,
put like this, he's doing just like Greg Abbott is doing, trying to make a name for himself to please a certain
doing
group of
most
folks.
outrageous things. I
And
mean,
that's why all the board and everybody else in Florida need to go vote when it's time to vote and get him
uh-oh.
out. He's already gone. Um, there you go. Now I blocked them on YouTube too, so um, blocked them on YouTube and on the stream. See, they keep coming in with the fake accounts. That's how they get in. Because once I
Uh-oh.
block them, they block. What's wrong?
No, my chat thing disappeared because when you blocked them, it told me to reload, and so now I got nothing. It's just like
Oh,
looks
okay.
like your embed is invalid, and it took me to a settings screen.
Oh, it's
So,
to Brent.
okay, well,
Okay,
I
he's
don't
saying
get to
it.
preview any of the comments right now, so
Oh, it's not coming through.
no, because I it looks like I have to log in or do something. I don't know. I did something wrong. I don't know.
No, you want to try to step out while I catch up on these readings real quick.
What?
Uh, no, you want to try to go out, come back in real quick. Are you
Yeah, I'll
there?
try that. All right, give me a
Okay.
moment, guys.
Gabe said it's to prevent what happened in Cali and New York. General rotation and sexual um, identity does not need to be taught in K through 3 classroom. Well, first of all, it definitely should not be um, a child that young. Um, don't know what they want. But as for them teaching them to be gay or straight,
Yeah, because I don't even understand the
I
concept.
don't
Like, what are they
understand it.
trying to say with that? Because it's like it should be a safe space. Like, if a kid, is trying to figure things out and you want to go to your teacher and ask them questions, I think that should be allowed. It's not that they are promoting the gay agenda. I mean, they're not pushing. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how
So,
what they're trying to do with that bill, but to restrict little young personalities to, like, maybe Timothy wants to be called Mary. Is that no longer allowed? And so now I don't know. Like,
well, I really feel like what most of the problem is what's been showed on TV. Because if you allow your child to see these type of things on TV, they start getting interested. Now, I'm not. I'm like this. If it was, I have plenty of family members that are gay, um, by whatever you want to call them. I love them the same. It doesn't matter to me because we're a family, just like anybody else. That's your choice. Only thing I would tell anybody, if you decide to be gay, by whatever, long as you happy, I'm happy. Be safe with it.
right.
That's all
But
I'm
I'm
saying.
still confused on, like,
I'm
the
confused on that
whole
bill too.
third grade and they're trying to stop who's talking about sex ed to children under fifth grade.
Well, hold on,
You know
hold
what I
on,
mean? Like, I don't
hold
understand. I mean,
on,
I'm
hold on.
still just
Now, you did you see the video I sent you yesterday of that madness where
of the what?
some woman talking about holding um a camp, saying that when a child, no matter what age they are, I sent it to you on Instagram yesterday, which was crazy. Um, and I'm not gonna go into detail too much, but she basically had this camp, which I feel like it's basically grooming kids for trafficking. Uh, with this camp and the guy that was on there with her, with the other reporters, she was like, "I can't believe you even brought this stuff out." You'll have to go back and listen to it. I know you don't listen to everything I send
Well, I get like 5 million things on different
you.
things. But
No,
no,
excuse
like,
me.
I mean, I think they should just let kids be kids. Don't restrict them. But I mean, if they're so afraid of, oh, it's too many gay images. Well, if that was the case, like the way the world is, we have so much, like, sex sells and it's been selling. You
Mm.
think there'll be a lot less gay people because guess what? They're seeing people sucking face and having sex on the beaches and underage sex on CW, like, and they're still gay. Like, it has nothing to do with the images and or whatever. It's like, let the kids be free and give them a safe place so they can feel comfortable with maybe going to a teacher or counselor and saying, hey, trying to figure things out, so that by the time they're in the sixth grade and they start talking about sex education, if they still do that, then maybe that's when they allow for more open dialogue. Hey, I feel this way, or I think I'm this way, and my body looks this way, so why does that not match what we're talking about here? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I don't think it's
Well,
I don't know.
I have not personally seen the picture or anything like that, but someone brought it to me this week about uh, Dwayne Wade's son, who is uh, openly gay, and was saying that when they took the family Easter picture, Uh, his boyfriend was on there with them and allegedly kissing the boyfriend. I'm like, that's going on in their household. I don't pay not one bill in their household. So that's them and they son. If and like the person who brought it to me, they end up saying, well, I don't think they need to be teaching that child that because he don't know. He might get 16 and be like, you know what? I want a girlfriend now. I
Yeah,
don't
I
know.
mean, let kids explore. I mean, sex is
Yeah.
fluid. You know, let's take it back to like the 70s and 80s when everybody was doing, disco and cocaine. You explored everything. And then you
I'm a
recovered and you're
70
like,
baby,
you
so I
know what?
wasn't doing that.
And it's like, you know what? I did the androgynous thing. I sucked face with, same genders. I'm over that. Now I'm married with 3 kids. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like,
Now,
just don't put that like negative stigma on it. Just let people explore.
exactly. Um, Miss Karen, welcome to the show. Thank you for tuning in. Said now they're banning math books. They trying to ban anything that's gonna educate our folks because what's happening, uh, they probably trying to ban them for the simple fact they feel like if they ban it out of schools, they won't be taught at home.
Gabe, nobody's talking about pre-K. I'm talking about older people.
That's why. That's why. Gabe, I
Gabe
just,
just
I'm
Gabe
way
fixated
behind
on
on.
one thing and ran with it.
I'm way behind on the comments, and
Like, yeah,
so TCal said they sure did. All the boys said they made a law that you can't teach about racism if it makes people uncomfortable in Florida.
yeah.
They
You
trying
can't
to
talk
do
about
that.
slavery.
They trying to do that everywhere, and Florida is just like Texas, known for they racist ways. What was that town in Florida? It Vin Rings was in a movie about it, and it done flip my mind. I know somebody will put it in the chat, but it was on the tip of my tongue. Every time I see that movie, it kind of remind me when we used to watch Roots as a child. Rosewood, that's it. I knew somebody would put it in there. Yes, Rosewood. Uh, if you haven't seen that movie, go watch it. It's a very good movie. Um, oh, talk to you. What? I'm skipping some things. All the boy says sex shouldn't be promoted, but everyone should feel safe and welcome.
Right.
Exactly.
And
I
just
don't.
going back on that, like, again, like I stated before, who's teaching sex ed or anything of that nature to anyone under the 6th grade? Like, no one. So that shouldn't even be a thing. There should not be a bill to restrict that. Like, again, if someone in the 2nd grade may have seen something and feels like, oh, I think I may not be a boy. I feel like a girl. They should be comfortable enough to go to their teacher. That's all I'm saying, and without restrictions. Nobody's telling them, you don't have to take it up the booty hole, or like, nobody's having these conversations with kids. They're just saying, they're trying to guide you like anybody else. All right, if you feel this way, maybe you could talk to a counselor, or maybe you could talk to your parents. Da da da. Then when they're older and they have those sex ed classes, then they can, maybe they're a little more free and comfortable in saying, hey, I don't feel this way. I mean, and go from there. But I don't think, I don't know. It's just, I think they're making things more complicated than they should be.
Exactly. Um, all the boys said for a few years they went overboard with sexuality stuff. Though I don't care who Caitlyn Jenner sleeps with. I don't care either.
Like,
Don't
it
care.
doesn't affect me in any way, shape, or form. Like, you do you, boo.
Uh, I'm scanning through the mess. Uh, Miss Donna said Bruce Jenner. I think she meant. Oh, you're right. Bruce Jenner was the original name. He just changed it to Caitlin.
Yeah.
And from my understanding, he haven't had the surgery yet either.
Well, it's not all about like that. It's like how you feel, and if you want to keep your original genitalia, more power to you. But again, we put too much stock in like the sex part. Well, if you're a woman, then how can you have boobs and a penis? Well, maybe that's how she feels. She feels like a woman with extra parts. Like it's not as straightforward as we make it seem. And I think once you take those restrictions off and just let people be, these conversations would not be needed, you know? So, like, Bruce may never get fully snip. Maybe that's not what he wants,
Sure.
I mean, and then he dates women, so he's a or she's a lesbian. Sorry, wrong pronoun. She's a lesbian because she dates women. Maybe that comes in handy, and she doesn't have to buy parts. So it's like
So she's still dating women.
she
I
never stopped dating women. She just felt like, and see again, like you start thinking, well, she's a woman, wouldn't she be interested in men? No, she's a lesbian.
yeah, that's what it
She
would
just
be.
wanted to be a woman who dates women.
Um, now, um, I stopped at Rosewood.
Yeah, there are
Rosewood
lots
was,
of stories where there's tragedies in Black communities that were wiped out by terrorists.
well, one thing about Rosewood, which we actually talked about this on the show maybe a year and a half ago, some of the people uh, that was killed or lost their lives and stuff, I believe they're paying college for their grandkids, great grandkids, and all of that. So, but that's not
Yeah, there are a
enough.
lot of communities they're trying to right the wrong, but they still got a long way to go. Like,
Show do. Um, then all aboard. All aboard said, I actually felt confused as a child because I was a tomboy. I like boy sports. Turn out, I'm completely straight and
and
laughed my
see,
ass off. Good
yeah, and
thing I
see, I was
didn't
a tomboy, but
transition.
I knew I liked boys, but because I mean, it's just, I just like to play in I didn't wear dresses because I didn't like the fact that little boys would flip your skirt. So shorts were, just easier. And then, you climb trees. I don't want anybody looking at my goods, right? Little underoos. So it was just a comfort thing. But yeah, I'm still kind of a tomboy uh, in some aspects, but
Especially
a,
when it comes down to poker.
a straight asexual.
Especially when it comes down to poker, because I don't like playing against you at poker. That's just my opinion. Between you and my wife, I don't like playing against y'all. So, um, but I did ask the question. Hold on, let me add that one too. I did ask the question at the beginning of the show. Now we're gonna switch them around a little bit. Since we brought up Caitlin, and I had asked the question: should a transgender man be allowed to be in a women prison?
Transgendered female or transgendered male?
Well, he's transgendering to a female.
Right.
Should he be allowed
So
in a
she's
women?
female.
No. Well,
Yes.
born a male, but
Yes. Currently is
classified
female.
as
Right.
a
Identifies
female,
a female.
but
So
have
yeah,
all the parts.
it does not matter. Again, you're putting stock on genitalia. Has nothing to do with genitalia. It's how
Well,
you feel.
the thing is,
I know. I know. The story's cute because I mean, listen, even if she didn't have genitalia, like the male genitalia, they still be grinding and bumping in the jails. So
they do, but the thing is, I've looked at several articles about. Oh shoot, I did not want to go on that one. Nope, not that one. I looked at several articles about it, and the thing is with this particular case, Demetrius Minor, um, who is serving a a 30-year bid, I believe, and went into the women prison and end up getting two inmates pregnant. Now, it seemed like, I don't know, but even if they identify as a woman, everybody well, I won't say everybody, most people still gonna have that sexual desire.
Right. But it
And
doesn't matter what genitalia you have, they're gonna be bumping and grinding regardless.
they're gonna be bumping and
So
grinding,
the
but
question you had is, should he be or should she be in a female prison? Yes, because guess what's going to happen if she goes to an all male prison? She
and
gonna
that's
die because they're gonna run her over like a choo choo train and probably kill her because
what
men
the,
ain't right.
what the thing is. um I feel like what all the boys said, maybe they should be in separate session. I feel that way too, because
But they'll still be bumping and grinding because who's to say transgender female who still has the male parts, and then you get a butch, you know, female, and they bump and grind. She ends up pregnant. So
well,
genitalia again
if
doesn't
they in
matter.
a separate session where
Who paying for that,
okay,
Kurt Dog?
hey,
We got overcrowding. Ain't nobody paying for all that
well, if no,
situation.
what I'm saying, it could be, or maybe what they should do is get a prison strictly for transgenders.
They're
I
not gonna
don't
do that.
know, but
They're not gonna do
the
it.
thing is, when you end up having a male, female, whatever, um, different sexual parts, as
How
it's
about birth
eventually
control in prison? That's it. Because inmates and guards have babies together. Like you can't say you can't have sex and because you have this genitalia. Just offer them birth control because they're gonna do it anyway. Because diseases are running rapid in the prisons, and the baby, you know, they just it's just craziness. But I don't
yeah,
think they should be separate jails because nobody's going to pay for that because we have overcrowding and they'll find an excuse. They're like, well, we'll have to put them in isolation until they totally transform. But guess what? They're still going to be bumping things against each other, trying to get off, regardless of what they have down below. So, birth
yes.
control and condoms and whatever to keep them safe.
Well,
That's
and
just
you are right, Miss Risky, and also all the boys says it's gonna happen anyway. Miss Risky, I mean, all the boys says sometimes guards sleep with inmates, male and female. Yes, that is true because
get
I
them hurt.
know some people that had did a couple of bids and they like, hey, I'm straight because I was with a guard, and it's like, hey, that's cool. But at the same time, I've seen these police shows where the guards end up losing they livelihood and end up going to prison because of their sexual desire. So that happen all the time. But I don't know. It, hey, he got two women pregnant in prison, and or she got two women pregnant in prison. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe they need to set up something separate to keep them divided, or
Birth
clip,
control.
clip, clip, clip.
Well, they're
Well,
not going to ever
if
take
you
away
give them
women's ability
if
to reproduce
if
because
you
they should
give
have done
them
that a long time ago with,
yeah, but if you give
certain.
them birth control, then that's like it's saying it's okay.
No, it's not. You sound
You
like
you
those. You sound like parents of teenage girls. if I give them birth control, they're going to be whores. You take it just in case for different
Uh,
reasons. But better safe than sorry, especially if you're going to have trans people and guards in the same proximity, because again, they can get pregnant by prison guards. So protect the women if they want or offer condoms. I don't know. But you can't go snip snip, just because somebody's in jail or their financial or economic situation is below, I don't
yeah,
know.
all the boys said they should have access to birth control for sure and protection. That's like saying, hey, y'all can have all the rendezvous y'all want to have up in here.
Yeah.
I never
Well,
been to
I
prison,
mean,
so
again,
I never
again,
been
they're
to
doing it
jail.
anyway. And they don't
Yeah,
have
they
birth
can
control.
do
They're
it.
doing it now. And they got diseases running through prisons. Then in
Yeah.
men prison, AIDS and HIV and syphilis are running high. So it's like you can say no, sex is forbidden,
But
but
see, that's
if
kind of
there's a
like
hole, they're gonna put it in there or little. Whoop, whoop.
this show that used to come on 60 Days In, and there was several times where when they was filming the female, some of them ended up getting busy on the show. So yeah, it's gonna happen. Also, all the boys said there was a guy in Baltimore that had about 5 guards pregnant at once. I believe we talked about that
I
on the
think you
show
did. I think it was a while back.
last year. What? Yeah, a year and a half ago. So we did talk about that.
Yeah. So I
Then she
think
said, then they get out and spread it.
yeah,
Uh, yeah,
yeah, because it's
cause
like little Jerome went in there and he had his hair done all like that fresh cornrows, and then come back and he with his baby mama and infect her with whatever his boyfriend gave him. So I think it should just be an option, like just protect yourself, and give them the choice if they do partake. It should just be available, not as a promotion because they're already doing it.
and not only that, um, kind of remind me back in the days when a lot of guys go to jail. Then because one thing about it, they do test you for everything before you get in, um, and then they test you when you leave. So it been several people that was in jail, went in there, had no disease, come out they HIV
Well,
positive.
well, here's the thing: viruses are different.
Yeah,
Like they're different. They can be incubating, like they go through an incubation period, and they're not detectable. And so it's like I could be with somebody from 10 years ago, and then all of a sudden, oh wait, that dude gave me some diseases.
some of
You
that
don't
non
know
wash off.
people. It's just different. So you can test, like for like I don't know. Well, that's a virus. I don't know. I don't know much about
Well,
diseases.
well, I know at one point it was a big things where guys coming out of prison, they come home to their wife, girlfriends, have sex with them, they end up becoming HIV positive, and all of this, and it was basically because of what he did behind closed
Well, yeah,
doors, and not sharing with her of what was going on. So,
yeah.
um, uh, they call it gay for the stay. Uh, I, nah, I couldn't do it. Mm-mm. Uh, not only said not HIV, that only happens with herpes.
I don't know about that
No,
because that's a
I,
virus.
I've
Any
seen
virus, it works pretty much the same way.
yeah, because it don't show up immediately.
Yeah,
Um, from what I read in sex education, uh, you could get don't want to be too graphic,
because I mean
but
it works. Yeah, I
you
mean
could
yeah,
get
it has
some
like so
STDs
is
that
herpes because it's like it's one of those where it's like what they say. It's the gift that keeps on giving, and you
yeah,
may not even know you have it and can expose other people,
and
but
giving
you
it
may
to
not have any
somebody else.
symptoms or anything. So, but
And
that I think
and
that's most viruses.
And most STDs do not show up right away. Um, and yeah, I remember
But the
back in
only
the
thing is
days.
HIV and herpes. Any virus is not curable. Syphilis, gonorrhea, all those things you can kind of knock those out with if you get them early enough with penicillin. But they be coming out with super syphilis and gonorrhea and then that flesh eating one.
Uh, I don't know. Now the good thing is with HIV today, you can live with it if you're getting the proper treatment. And I think at the beginning, just like anything else, people didn't know how to treat it. But science have changed so much. Because I think at some point we all know someone who may be HIV positive or whatever. And it's just the fact of how they're dealing with it. I always believe that no matter what, um, you live in a reckless lifestyle or doing whatever, you should always share with your partners about your past and give them that opportunity to decide if they want to deal with it or not. So you ignore my comments. Depends on which comments you talking about. Um,
It's
I'm
so
I'm
many.
I'm passing some of them up. There's some medication called PrEP. If you expose, you could take it within 3 days to prevent
But that's
HIV
for
transmission.
men, specifically for men. They state that women, well, what was it? What they say? People who are assigned female at birth can't take it, according to the commercial. So it's for men. So, yeah, I mean, they should offer that off in the prisons. But I don't know.
Well, they also I've seen the commercial. I haven't seen it in a while, but they used to play a commercial all the time saying that, hey, you could take this medication before you expose. Take it on a regular base, and
Yeah,
it'll prevent you from getting it. But my thing is, they haven't found the cure for it yet. Only one person I know that been cured of it.
magic. That's because you got billions of dollars.
I'm just saying, only one person
No,
I
there was
know.
a South Park. I think we talked about this. There was a South Park episode where they were like how they cure AIDS or HIV was mixing up like $1 billion and injecting in your veins, and it cures you. I don't know. It's South Park. It was funny.
Yeah, but um, and also we got Michelle Obama calling. Hold on, and don't hang up because I need to get my. I don't know why my phone do that. No, I don't want to send her the voicemail. Hold on. I
Can you
don't know
forgive
why my
her?
my phone went black. Call right back. I have it unlocked now, so call me right back. Um, call right back. She surprised me and called me, so um, no, I always love talking to Michelle Obama. So oh, I'm trying to find another mic. Uh, but definitely call right back for you can get your point across. Um, there you go. Hold on. I don't know. Hold on. Let me make sure I have my phone cut up loud enough for everybody can hear you. Okay, you there? All aboard. Hold on. Hold on. For some reason, I can barely hear you. Can you hear RsKee?
Mm-mm.
Try it now, all aboard. I don't know why that's real low. I can, but I can barely hear you. Hold on. Hold on real quick. Make sure I have it on. Oh, that's why I couldn't hear you. I can hear you now. Come on. I had to put speaker.
don't know about is a medication called PrEP, and it's not just they don't like to prescribe. They won't prescribe it to you if you don't have a risky lifestyle, like sex worker, or you were assaulted, or you're a drug user. But it's something that is available. It's like, or a medical professional. Say you get poked with a needle and you get exposed, but there's a medication that will prevent you from contracting herpes. Not herpes. HIV. Most people don't know that.
Okay, I do see HIV prevention drug option, PrEP, and it's pre-exposure, HIV risk and prevention. Can you hear it pretty good, Miss Risky?
Barely. If I strain, I can hear her.
Well,
Okay. Yeah, but that
That's
is
better.
people. Some people don't want to take it. Like if you have a risky lifestyle, you can take it every day. But I think it makes them nauseous, so most people don't want to. They'll just use traditional, prevention. But I think that should be available in prison for sure.
yeah, but how long does it? Do you know how long it lasts for, or is it something?
At the transmission, like say if it's just like a morning after pill type of a thing. You know what I mean? Like if you are exposed, you take it, but it doesn't like protect you forever. It's only
they give it to you like if you were taking antibiotics or something.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah, I was wondering if and look like the FDA approved first injectable treatment of HIV pre-exposure. They approved that back in December the 20th, 2021. A lot of this type of stuff I haven't heard about. So
well, you don't live that lifestyle. You're a married man.
exactly.
and I've only seen the commercial for it because I watch RuPaul Drag Race.
Oh.
I think and imagine if a person goes to prison and they committed like a minor crime, but they do need to be in prison, to be rehabilitated. They shouldn't have to live with a lifelong virus because, they're in prison.
Well, that's true.
Like other exposures where, it's against their will. So I think they should have access to prophylactics.
Well, yeah, that's different. That's different than what I was making a point about earlier. I understand the guy's transgender, in the process of being a transgender, and probably would never get that surgery while he's in prison.
Well, probably will because they pay for it. It's they get so being her best interest to get it while in prison. But
I don't think we should be the moral police about what people. I think if you're in prison, I think you're doing enough. Like in my opinion, I don't think we should be the moral police to say if they should. Look, if I was in prison for 20-something years, I'd be having sex. I'd probably flip on it, and I don't know what I'd do. I don't think we should be the moral police. Like if they're locked up, they should have access to all forms of medical health care.
Yeah, they should. They should definitely have health care. Matter of fact, it's been stories where people committed crimes just to get health care back in the days.
Listen, I told you I'm doing a federal crime, so when I retire,
Yeah, you did threaten me that
because
day.
I was like, I'm not going to be able to afford life on the outside. I'm going to slap a banker in the face and maybe cut him a little bit.
She told
Make
me
sure I get at least 10, 15.
Said she was going to take a razor blade and just slice
Not
my
a
finger
razor
and put
blade. I
salt
said
in
a
it.
piece of paper. Give him a paper cut.
Oh, and put some salt in it and make it burn before she could go to prison.
No, I just need them to show a little blood, a little paper cut, deep paper cut.
I know I wouldn't want to go in Texas.
They call it
or Florida.
They call Texas Hang 'em High, Texas.
But Texas, Florida, and Louisiana, those are some states you don't want to get in trouble in.
They call Texas Hang 'em High, Texas. Matter of fact, they just executed the oldest prisoner today.
Was that the man that killed
Yes.
like 30-something years ago. I cannot believe he was 78. They could have just let him live the rest of his life. Like, that is a waste of money.
They couldn't
Yeah.
get any more work out of him.
Yeah, stuff like that. It's like there should be time limits.
Like, he would have. That's crazy. That is a waste of money.
Yeah.
I think.
It did bring closure to the family, but at the same time, I'm like, hey, and I didn't realize that certain states have firing squads. Matter of fact, it was a guy scheduled to die in South Carolina. I just seen it today.
Wasn't
And
there like 2 dudes that elected firing squad?
the one in South
I
Carolina,
think that happened after, because they can't get the medicine. It's not easy to get, like the lethal injection medication. There's like one part of it that they're having a hard time getting because certain countries don't want to sell it to us because they're against the death penalty. So that's why they're electing to bring the firing squad back. Like, if you choose it, you could choose it.
well, they stopped the one that's supposed to have been taking place soon, but I want to say he have a new date or someone else have a new date. I think it was 2 guys in South Carolina that is scheduled to uh, die by the firing squad, and I'm like, man, that's
I don't know if I would want to take that chance because somebody may like they ought to nail me. Because how was it in only one? There's only one bullet in the gun, or is it?
no, they're gonna have 5 people there.
I know,
It
but only one. I think gun. Is that how it goes? Only one gun has a bullet because they don't know which one.
It's quicker than the lethal injection because they botch that a lot. That gets botched often.
Well, I think if they had a SWAT person, just uh, I don't know.
Good old head tap, Miss Risky. You wouldn't just take the good head tap.
You hear Miss Risky?
No.
She didn't hear what you said.
I said Miss Risky wouldn't take the good old head tap.
The good head tap.
Oh.
Yeah.
No. What was the head top for? I don't understand. Know the context of what she's saying.
She doesn't get the joke. Like, I think that would be less painful than lethal injection because they have to like paralyze your body. It's painful.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they give you a combination of things to relax you and to help you not feel pain. So and then like 4 things they inject you with.
One of them is to calm you. One is to paralyze you, and then the other one shuts down your organs. But if the first 2 don't work for some reason, or they're not strong enough, like you feel all of it. And another thing that some states are using is fentanyl. They're using fentanyl to euthanize people.
All right, so I looked up the firing squad, and that's exactly what I thought. So yeah, it's 5 gunmen lined up, but only one gun has a bullet, so that they don't.
They don't know which one did it.
Mm-hmm. Because they don't want them to know which one for sure gave the fatal round.
Yeah, that's.
So you're not just up there, because that would suck. Like all of y'all missed.
but what if that person that had a bullet miss? Do we get out
They probably have
free?
lasers. So, and it's probably a kill shot. They're not going to give it to Jim Bob who had a malt liquor before he lined up.
Yeah, that wouldn't be good.
An interview with an executioner. It was a black guy. He killed a bunch of people, and it was very interesting to watch his rationale of how he was able to cope with that. That would be a lot of stress to put on a person if you're like a killer, I think.
Yeah, it's all fun and games until that guilt hit.
Yeah.
Regardless of the situation, it's like I don't know. So
it'd be kind of crazy. So how have you been doing, all aboard? I know we've been hit and miss, and
I've been missing your show. All I catch is the replay, and it's so stressful because I think I catch the live, but
I'm trying to work some things out. Right now, I'm only because I prefer to do it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. But right now, I have so much going on. I'm only able to do Thursday, and but I'm trying to work my schedule out to get more days in, and that's what I'm trying to do. So hopefully,
You're a working man, but we need to get this. It's really nice to get the live content and to be able to interact with you and Mrs. RsKee, and I really enjoy it. So I'm happy I got to see the live show tonight.
well, I'm glad you're here, and thank you for always supporting the show. I know you've been riding with us about a year now, or a little bit longer. I don't know. Time go by
Been
quick.
a little longer than a year.
Oh, okay. Well, we definitely appreciate it, and we're I'm trying to work some things out. Soon as I get them worked out, um, I'll be able to do more things. But right now, it's been kind of difficult to do a lot of stuff. I'm trying to get back to the point where I was before. So I just
There's a couple things I'm gonna send you guys that I think that you and Miss RsKee should talk about. I've been seeing like there's been an uptick in domestic violence and also in child abuse over the COVID and in that time period. So I would like to have a show where you guys go into that in detail
okay.
and like do some prevention. I think that would be important.
Yeah, what I'll do is uh on something like that, I'm gonna try to get it set up where we can have a counselor to come on because we never know who listen to the shows, and we want to make sure we can provide good help for people. We could talk about it and give our opinion, but it's always best to have a professional on there where we can offer help at the same time, which I always have access to the counselors. Um, as a matter of fact, I just referred them to someone not too long ago. That is friend of mine's actually asked me about one of the counselors, so I passed their information on. And
Didn't we have like when Miss Kincaid was on? We briefly touched on that because the pandemic. We and I don't know if it was like on the air or behind the scenes because people were doing some wackadoo things, and it's because we're you know all together and confined and for the longest amount of time, and so it does something to your mental health when you're not exposed to the outside world like you're used to.
yeah,
But I know we briefly touched on that, but we could
And
probably
also, there's not a lot of children normally get checked at schools, so that's like a safety thing as well. Like a teacher will notice if a child isn't eating or if they have bruises on them. So that safeguard was kind of taken away as well. There's been a lot of children that have just disappeared during the pandemic. Or
yeah,
they're dead is what's happened to them. But it's like they didn't have that extra safety. I don't know how to explain it. I'm sure you would know better how to explain it, Miss RsKee. But you know what I mean, like that
yeah,
extra.
because they can always see the troubled children, and when they're not there, then things get missed. And just like with foster children, a lot of these kids are being abused, and because we're in some stressful times, and they take it out on the children. And now that they're there in the homes 24/7 and not in the schools, they're exposed to much more abuses, and it's going unnoticed and untreated.
yes. And then also, when we talk about the pandemic, I don't know about it. Well, I know Florida has some issue during spring break, but I could tell you, it's a lot of places having issues. I believe it was North Carolina or South Carolina where the big fight happened at a mall. A couple of people were shot at a house party somewhere else, and then here in Texas, one of our malls have put a curfew on the weekend. After 2 p.m., I think on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, you cannot if you underage, you cannot be at that mall without a
Because
parent.
then without a
They just had a big fight out there this past weekend. Then the schools, at least 3 schools in the Metroplex have had huge fights at the school. And one of our friend is a school teacher, and they was telling us that every day it's about 7, 8 fights at the schools, way more than what it used to be. Um, so the pandemic have really messed people up. Road rage is up. People is on the edge.
there's a lot of road rage incidents that
Exactly.
like
And
every
that's
other
also
day there's a
important.
road rage
You
incident.
can't. That's why I don't do road rage at all, and I don't drive with people that do, because you don't know who has a weapon in Florida. You can just be trying to like let off some steam and talk crap. That person might feel like you threatened them and shoot.
That's true.
So road rage is not the right idea.
Because y'all had an incident not too long ago where a guy was driving down the street, down the highway, and he anticipated this guy coming up to shoot. And I think the guy threw a bottle of water at him and he started shooting at him.
And I don't think he went to jail for it either.
No,
And he
they
closed his
both
eyes.
they
He
both
was
was
shooting with his eyes
arrested.
closed.
They both was arrested, but I don't know if the charge is stuck or not. And that happened a couple of months ago. Um, so that's interesting. And then child trafficking is up also. Because we're almost out of time. I want to hit on this story real quick. Because here it is, a young lady. I guess this happened around the 8th of the month. She was at a Dallas Maverick game here in Dallas, um, and went to the restroom. She was there with her family. Went to the restroom, never returned. They found her a couple of weeks later in Oklahoma. They had been trafficking her, and it was
But the thing with that, she had been corresponding with someone online, because they
okay.
said in the footage she walked with the guy like with no struggles, whatever. So it's one of those things where she probably met up with somebody and she's like, "Oh, I'm here," and they did the switcheroo on her and ended up putting her in the game, on the streets.
Okay, I see where they said she was because apparently at first they said she left with one guy, but
Hmm.
now they're saying she left with 2 males from the gang.
Yeah. So
And
watch your children carefully. Make sure you know what they're doing, because they're, like, even if she didn't meet up with them, or correspond with them online, there are predators everywhere. I mean, they could be the same age she is and traffic her because they're in it. So we got to be more vigilant when it comes to our children, and because the traffickers, they're getting more clever.
yeah,
Um,
because to get into American Airline, not unless she went outside, but if she was seen
no,
on
she was
camera,
inside when they
she
walked
was
off together.
inside.
Mhm.
So they buying tickets to come in to traffic kids, which is crazy. And looking at the picture of these 6 folks, it was 8. They have 2 blocked out, and
Yeah.
I would have been yelling
There's
stranger
also
danger.
there was an Uber driver, but she went offline. She got like a someone offered her more money probably, and it was like a young woman, a mother, and she agreed to take someone on an Uber ride, but not on Uber, and she was killed as well. So like protect yourself. Like there are predators right now. We're at inflation. People are desperate. People are just taking a lot more risk. Protect yourself, male or female.
True. Well, that's
I'm gonna
cool.
let you go and catch the rest of the show. But thank you guys for taking my call, and I love the show.
All right, I appreciate it all aboard. Thank you for always tuning in, supporting the show, and we will I'm working on trying to get back to do more days. So give me a little time. I'm trying to get it right, but we can do it
We'll be
again.
watching. Thank you guys.
All right, thank you.
Have a good night.
You too. Well, that was all aboard, straight out of the MIA, Miami in the house. So yeah, that's man, it's been a good night tonight. I don't know about you. I see your eyes keep closing. Are you reading something?
I was reading something,
Oh,
but
um,
my sinuses are starting to feel better because I took some nasal spray before the show.
oh,
So
you on that good?
no, it's saline.
Oh,
I'm trying to keep it natural,
no, okay.
but
Well,
if it kept on doing the good stuff,
yeah, I had to take my glasses off a while ago because before the show, I went downstairs to cut the porch lights on and all of that, and it's like, man, my eyes start burning. I'm like, look, it's terrible. But anyway, Miss Risky, let the folks know where they can find you at.
well, not in these streets the way my sinuses are. But you can find me at RsKee on pretty much most social media platforms. TikTok, Instagram. I live on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter. Um, you can send me an email at rskee at yahoo.com. And you can check out my works at riskybooks.com.
No, okay. And you can find me on Facebook. Speak on the Curtdog, Instagram, TikTok. I know I haven't done anything on TikTok in a while, but I'm trying to get back into it, and but we definitely, if you reach out to me, you can always send an email. I cleared some out today, um, and I need to talk to you about something when we get off the air too. Um, so you can send me an email at who you with Curtdog at mail.com, who you with Curtdog at mail.com. And you can also uh if you hit me up on social media, send me a message. uh Instagram is the best place because I'm on there quite a bit. So hit me up on that. Other than that, it's been a wonderful week. Hopefully, everybody's staying safe. Please be safe. Do not let your guards down. They reported the other day that COVID numbers are going up in 34 states so far. So please be safe. Protect yourself, protect your family. And regardless of what some people say, it's your duty to protect yourself. Nobody else can do it better than you, besides God. But also, please make sure you get prepared to vote. We have we had the runoff elections coming up next month. So when early voting start, vote as soon as it come up for your voice can be heard and we can make a difference. We have Greg Abbott, Ken Patson, Dan Patrick, Sid Miller. The Board of Education is also up for reelection. So we need to make sure we allow our voice to be heard. Until then, we love each and every one of you. See you next week. Until then, peace.